Bracken! What's up? What's up? So ever since my last bookshelf tour, I've been getting constant requests for an updated bookshelf tour. And I've been putting it off because I don't know how exciting that's gonna be. I already showed you most of my books. And the new books, I mean, I haven't read all of them yet. My bookshelf has changed quite a bit since that bookshelf tour. You see, now I can't fit all the books. It's overflowing. I need another one. So I don't know how exciting this updated bookshelf tour is going to be, but today we're doing the updated bookshelf tour. Bum bum bum. So as per usual, we're gonna start on shelf 1. So as you can see, we've done quite a bit of rearranging since last time, and I think honestly it looks a lot cooler this way. Now it's more like Tetris because I have to fit a bajillion books into like 5 shelves. So let's get started. First, of course, we have Twilight. I realized that I'm sick and tired of looking at the Twilight books, so I'm gonna put them up here where I don't really see them. Then we've got the Delirium Stories by Lauren Oliver, which, if you haven't heard, was going to be turned into a TV show. They made a pilot with Emma Roberts, and then Fox turned it down. Wasn't good enough. So that sucks. Okay, come back. Be here. Come back. Be here. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. If you still haven't read it, you should read it. It's a really great book. It's one of my all-time favorites, and the movie sucked, but that doesn't mean the book sucks, because it doesn't. Next to The Host, I have The Diviners by Libba Bray. It's a big book, and I have not read it yet. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? And it's cold, and it takes place in the Roaring 20s. I actually read the first 2 chapters. Next, I have Game Board of the Gods by Rochelle Mead. I have not read this yet either. If you've already read it, let me know what you thought. Next to that, we have my Dan Brown collection, which we've already been through. Shifting down to row 2. Row 2 is really pretty now. Like, it used to be pretty, but now it's gorgeous. We can see that Harry Potter has moved up on the shelf, and I just didn't like how it was organized before. It was all in a row. See, what I did, if you can't tell, I put 1 and 2 upright, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stacked. I know! How on earth did I come up with this genius arrangement? Next, we're coming up on a Legend series by Marie Lu, which is fantastic. The first book in the series is Legend. It's fast-paced, it's so short, it's like watching a movie. It literally feels like you just watched a movie, and a fantastic movie at that. The second book in the series is called Prodigy, even better than the first one. The third book in the series will be called Champion. I really highly recommend Marie Lu's books. I love them. I am so excited for Champion in November. I've been low on bookshelf space, and since I want Prodigy to be on display, I've had to push some books back out of the spotlight. I know, it must be really hard for them to be behind another book, but tough luck, you're a book. Deal with it. Behind Prodigy, we have my British version of the Deathly Hallows now, and we have The Evolution of Mara Dyer, which is the second book in the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer series, which I highly recommend. The third book, The Retribution of Mara Dyer, was actually supposed to come out October 22nd, the same day that Allegiant was supposed to be coming out. But it got pushed back to 2014, the third Divergent book coming out the same day as the last book really steals your thunder. So I understand why they're doing it, if that is why they're doing it. But we'll see. I really love these books though. Hidden all the way in the back here, we have my non-collector's edition of Insurgent. It's just not on display because there's no room, and I already have the collector's edition on display. Can't have 2 Insurgent books on display. We need that room. To the back. And lastly, on shelf 2, we have the Hunger Games trilogy. You're all very familiar with it. If you haven't read it yet, that's weird. Moving on. Shelf 3. Shelf 3 is just chock full of my favorites. Starting from this end over here, we have the Percy Jackson series, which is fantastical, by Rick Riordan, who's doing some Q&A this morning on his Twitter. Someone asked, so who came up with the idea for the Percy Jackson books? And Rick Riordan replies, I'm gonna have to check, but I'm pretty sure that was me. If you've yet to pick up The Lightning Thief, pick it up. Pick up the box set. Just do it. Just get them. Underneath the Percy Jackson series, we actually have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, which is the first book in the Mara Dyer series. On top of The Last Olympian, we have Variant by Robson Wells, which I purchased because I've heard great things about it, but I have yet to read it. I've started it a few times, but then I always get distracted by something else. And above Variant, we have one of my new favorite books, The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I loved it. It's spectacular. If you haven't picked it up yet, go pick it up. Go pick it up. I feel like I talk about it all the time now. The second one comes out in October. It's called Never Fade. I have a book talk about it. You can go ahead and watch that and get all the deets, okay? Moving along this way, we have Reboot by Amy Tintera. Next to Reboot, we have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. Next, we have the second book in the Darkest Minds trilogy, Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. This is actually an arc of Never Fade. I've never had an arc before. This is my first arc that I've ever read, and it's so weird not being able to talk about it with you guys. I'm so excited for it to be released so I can release my own book talk and we can discuss it because it was fantastic. I love the cover of it too. I can't wait to get the actual hardcover version so it doesn't have this little blue line and this little blue blob. Next, we have I Hunt Killers. It's by Barry Lyga. Coming up right next to my face, we have Divergent, one of my favorite books ever. More of my favorite books, the Heroes of Olympus series, which is the continuation of the Percy Jackson series. And the fourth book, The House of Hades, will be coming out in October. So excited! Moving on down to row 4. First and foremost, we have my collector's edition of Insurgent. Still haven't seen a collector's edition of Divergent, which is interesting. I have a collector's edition of book 2, but not a collector's edition of book 1. What are you doing to us? The collector's edition also has cool, uneven pages. And, get this, tattoos. That's right, faction tats. Yeah, you know you want a temporary dauntless tattoo. Maybe a candor. Next, maybe you recognize these babies. It's my Cassandra Clare collection! Cassandra Clare collection is taking on a new shape here. I didn't know how to arrange these in a fashion where everything would fit, so I ended up doing Clockwork Angel here, then Clockwork Prince on display because it's my favorite and it's beautiful, and then Clockwork Princess up here. So this is in some semblance of chronological order. And then next to that, I have the complete Sherlock Holmes. I have not read this. It was $20 and I was like, you know what? I need that. I need that. I actually bought this one of those times where I went to Barnes & Noble and they didn't have the book that I wanted. So I saw this one. And then lastly, on row 4, we have Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave. I feel like I've been raving about this a lot lately and it's because it's awesome. This is my signed copy. Highly recommend this book. Row 5. This shelf is made up mostly of books that I haven't read yet. I have Ready Player One, which the booktube community has just raved about. Went out of my way to get a hard copy of this baby. Here we are at shelf 6. Crash and Burn by Michael Hassan. I'm really excited to read this book still. I have not read it. Next we have a book I just bought the other day. It's brand new. It just came out. It's called Proxy. It's gotten some hype and I want to read it. The cover is shiny. Behind it, we have the Ugly series, we have the Bling Ring, we have Infinity by Sherilyn Kenanyan. I have Indigo Spell. This is the third book in the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead, which is the spin-off series of Vampire Academy. Really enjoying this series. After Indigo Spell, I have Shelter Me by Tare Mafi. I could not put this book down. It's not my favorite or anything, but it's enthralling. You can't stop reading it. We have Delirium Stories, which are all the short little novellas that go with the Delirium series, the Poison Study series, and then the Graceling books by Kristen Cashore. We're down to the final shelf, and down here on the bottom shelf is where things start getting really complicated. There's like 3 layers of books behind this. I'm only going to show you the outer layer because what's behind it is the stuff that I deem not worthy to be even reachable by my own hands. It's sad. It's sad, really. I don't like to hide any of my books, but it's a necessity. Starting over here, we have Lola and the Boy Next Door. Then we have Altered by Jennifer Rush. I read this during my Clockwork Princess morning period, and it was really quick, fun, exciting. And next to that, we have The Elite by Kira Cass, the second book in the Selection series, which I'm really enjoying. Next, we have Matched by Ali Condi, and Reached is under here. Laini Taylor's Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. excellent. It's high fantasy, so it takes some adapting to get down all the terms and to get the world together, but Laini Taylor's so talented. The world is fantastic. It's told kind of in a Lost-like fashion in that we switch from different point of views and then we finally see how everything connects. Except, I mean, it's so good. And you have to be patient with it. Because I know if you pick up Daughter of Smoke and Bone, you can be like, Christine, I don't understand this. Why do you like it so much? And the second book is even better. And then above that, I have Hush Hush and Silence. Crescendo, I think, got kicked to the back because I hate that book. Then we've got the Wake, Fade, Gone series by Lisa McMahon. Castor Chronicles, not a huge fan of those. White Cat by Holly Black. The Raven Boys by Maggie Steve Vater. Really excited about the Raven Boys. I didn't like the Shiver series. Not a fan. It was kind of very bland for me. It was okay. I read it to see what happened. The Raven Cycle, the Raven Boys, is exciting and different and quirky, and I really like it. And the thing about the Raven Boys, though, if you do pick it up, I would watch my book talk, the non-spoilery section, if you're thinking about picking it up, just because when you first start reading it, it's a little confusing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some new books that maybe you want to pick up. I'm Christine. I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh, shelves with little books on them. This is so exciting. High hopes, she's got high hopes. She's got high apple pie in the sky. Oops.